Hello. This is not how I expected my first YouTube video to go. But sometimes you have to run before you can walk. I've been overthinking my first YouTube video, trying to potentially do a long form video like my short form, where it's educational, valuable, scientific background knowledge into health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness. But I thought I'd be real and come on here and just tell you who I am, who the superhero is, all the lessons I've learned. I'm 25 years old. I'm living in Dubai. I have over 3 million followers. I'm financially free, but on the superhero journey, it hasn't been easy. So let's dive into it and all the value that I've learned on this journey, just in life. And right now I'm going through a very tough time, and I thought I'd been through everything that I needed to go through in order to become the superhero. But I feel like this was the final straw, heartbreak, and a lot more as well, but we'll dive into that. So yeah, my journey started when I was a young kid in school, overweight, bullied. I was the only brown guy in my school in my year, and because of that, I was picked on a lot. People often looked down on me. I often thought, I was worthless and that I wasn't, worthy of respect or having friends, and that insecurity lived within me for a very long time. And to this day, to be honest with you, people see the social media and the exterior of who I am and they think super successful, superhero journey kind of thing. But in reality, it's not always as good as it looks. But anyway, in school, that was who I was. The only way I was able to get through that feeling of insecurity was by working super, super hard. I got all A stars in my exams. I did very well on my A levels and GCSEs, which is a UK British, exam board. And then I got the grades, but because I was overweight and not confident in myself, I failed my interviews for dental school. And after failing my interviews for dental school, I realized I had to work on my communication and get in shape to build the confidence. So for a year, I took a gap year. I was actually working in recruitment, so doing a 9 to 5 every day. And that taught me from a very young age, discipline. But it also taught me I never want to work a 9 to 5. So I had that mindset implanted very early on in my life. But yeah, on that year, working 9 to 5, and then I quit to get in shape physically, not necessarily mentally at the time, but physically. I learned a lot of discipline through diet, nutrition, and just working out. The way I worked out, it was very unique, I'd say. 3 times a week, only 2 workout splits, just alternated every 2 weeks, and then just building on the progressive overload week by week. And I was doing reverse pyramid training, so starting very heavy and then working your way down. But yeah, got into shape and then went to university, got into dental school, passed my interviews, got in shape, passed my interviews. And then after I got in shape, I gained a lot of confidence. But it sort of it wasn't fake confidence, it was exterior confidence in the way I look. But I'd say inside and who I was, of course that hadn't really developed yet, because I went straight into university, and university was just a lot of fun. It wasn't a lot of studying. It was a lot of fun, just socializing, and I was enjoying it because I used to be this bullied fat kid with no with no friends or anything like that. And then as soon as I went to university, I got popular, I guess, and I made a lot of friends, that kind of thing. So for 2 years, it was truthfully a lot of partying, having fun. And when I got to a stage in my life where I just wasn't fulfilled at all, and my best friend Cooper, he said to me, you have a lot of potential. You can do something really amazing, with your, foundation. At the time, I didn't really have a foundation. I take that back, sorry. He just believed in me, saw my potential, and he told me to start, TikTok. This is when TikTok was just beginning to boom during COVID. So yeah, this was 2019, if I remember correctly. And then, yeah, I started the TikTok. I started the Instagram when Reels again was very new. So I started just posting dental content because I wanted to create a page where it was dentistry combined with, value, inspiration, and fitness and health. But yeah, I just started posting, and then one thing led to the other, and then I somehow fell into recipes, quick, high protein, low calorie recipes. If you go through my shorts, maybe you'll see some. And then after I started posting that, I was still in dental school in my third year now, posting recipes, gaining a lot of followers, gaining traction, gaining in that year of my third year of university, I think around 400,000 followers. So I was growing very big. And then after a year, I released a cookbook. And on the day I released the cookbook, I made 6 figures. So imagine, as a young dental student in my third year in my university accommodation, I was, it was just shocking. I was just, overwhelmed. And then that gave me the confidence and the confidence to take the risk to sort of step away from dentistry, because it was truthfully never my passion. My passion has always been about helping people. But at the time, of course, social media wasn't really a thing. And I always knew I could do something great and become someone who was going to inspire the world one day. And I knew dentistry wasn't the route. So yeah, I left dentistry in my third year and then moved to Manchester. Again, posting recipes, but meal preps this time. And then after a year posting meal preps, I moved to Dubai back in 2023. And then after moving to Dubai, I came to a realization where even food wasn't my passion, because again, food was not my passion. The passion has always been to help people. And back then I learned on social media, it's, food and that sort of stuff is going to become very saturated. I knew I had to be unique, take a risk, become someone else. And it was a superhero. The superhero has always lived in me. It's always been my hope from a young age. Like I mentioned, when I was getting bullied, when I was very alone in school, I always listened to Man of Steel, Superman music to give me hope. All the way back in 2013, I watched Spider-Man 1 and 2 when I was, 2, 3, 4 years old, that sort of age. So the superhero has been ingrained within me. And once it was ingrained within me, that just naturally came out, that purpose, especially being brown, there was no sort of superhero for me to really, really look up to in regards to who I can emulate. So I had to become my own superhero. I had to create my own superhero on social media to make a change in the world that I wanted to see. And yeah, after I released that, I got a lot of hate, backlash, because, people don't understand, something that is unique and different. People don't understand change sometimes. And that's what it was, a complete shift from food to the superhero. But I just had so much belief in it. I went through with it. I sacrificed a lot to do the superhero. I sacrificed, financials, social media growth. And then, for 2 years, I was lost. I tried so much stuff on social media, but I just kept getting hate. And then, I was just very lost. And then it got to a stage where I traded that sort of I traded that feeling of being lost for comfort, short-term happiness, just trying to sort of fill that void with, a partner, just someone who could have. Sorry guys, I had to cut that because I guess this is me being real, raw, relatable. It kind of hit hard when I was about to talk about the person I was in love with. But essentially, yeah, I fell in love, it's all part of life, you learn. But I fell in love last year and I was very lost. Truthfully, like I said, I filled that void of, being lost with, love and happiness and comfort. But unfortunately, it led to a path where, I gained a lot of weight. I was still kind of directionless with my content. A lot of bad stuff truthfully happened, a lot of challenge. I lost a lot of family. I lost myself. I learned a lot from the experience, and also as well as that, I had to go through an experience where, she had a heart attack and I had to give CPR and sort of save her life. And sort of in that process, you learn so much that nobody can really prepare you for. I always said as a superhero, I need to sort of save someone one day to really, become and learn the lessons. And unfortunately, it was her in the most painful way. And then sort of after that experience, I changed as a person. I became this superhero that you guys see today. I somehow fell into the content, the YouTube shorts, of the science-backed short-form content. I fell into it just by, I don't know, God. It was God, I didn't just sit there and strategically plan, this is how I'm going to do YouTube shorts, how I'm going to, post content. I just sort of fell into it. And then after falling into it, within 4 to 5 months on my own at home, just rebuilding myself whilst she was recovering, the page blew up. As you guys have seen on YouTube, it's gone from 0 to nearly 500,000 from the shorts you see. Instagram as well, 1 to 2 million. Business went booming and flying. And then, I was at home in the UK, but I just came back to Dubai a month ago. And then I came back to Dubai, sort of changed mentally, physically. I felt unbreakable, unstoppable. And unfortunately, that mindset just didn't align, with that person I was with. And now going through that sort of heartbreak, it's not, it's not grief in that aspect. It's more so disappointment. You have to have that mindset and narrative where, you can't grieve that you've lost, your soulmate forever and now she's going to marry someone else. It's more about the mindset of, the disappointment that you lost someone that you thought was going to be the one, but your actual, person is out there for you. And now it's about using that pain and turning it into power. So now I guess I'm going through this mini heartbreak journey, and now it's about, for myself and being the superhero that you guys see. I'm in shape. I don't know if the camera's going to work. I'm in shape. I'm living in Dubai. I'm living in a penthouse. I'm financially free. But I'm going to tell you, you can have everything in the world, all the, fame, all the money and stuff, but none of that means anything when it comes to people you care about. You can have everything in the world, but there's certain stuff in life that, this materialistic side, doesn't bring to you. There's certain value and experiences and, just life that these materialistic things will never bring to you. But for me, it's all about using this, this influence I have now to change the world one day. It really is like a superhero origin story. You have to go through a lot of pain and challenge and struggle. It's like in Spider-Man 2 where MJ just, sort of messed Peter Parker around no matter how many times he saved her. But yeah, it's now about, turning any pain and struggle you have into purpose, positivity. And as a man, I've learned so much. I'm 25 years old, and discipline is super important in times of struggle. Keeping yourself accountable, whatever challenge you're going through, you have to, feel it. But, whilst feeling it, you have to just take action, keep busy. Of course, feel what you want to feel. Any mindset, struggles you're having, your mental health, just write stuff down. Train, push yourself. I'm in shape, like I said, but I still train to push myself mentally. You have to become a superhero. I have to become this superhero that the world, sees the brand as, and now I have to live it. I have to live, who I've said I am, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm creating a superhero suit. It's not a gimmick. It's a real big investment. It $10,000 investment. It's Iron Man-esque type suit, and it's going to be inspiring. And I feel like once I get into that suit, I will truly become, the superhero that I'm meant to be. But yeah, this is sort of an end to the origin story. And I thought I'd just come on here and just speak so raw and real. I hope it helps. I'm very new to this, so I'm going to get better at YouTube. I just thought I'd make this as my first video, so you guys can see the real me, unscripted, no prepared scripts. This is me talking from the heart, and I hope I can relate to anyone who's going through any struggle, challenge. And here to tell you, you have to become your own superhero, because no one is coming to save you. That's one thing I've learned. No one is coming to save you. Last year, I was overweight, depressed, anxious, lost myself, filled that void with short-term happiness, food, comfort. And, I lost myself. So then I had to lose weight, get in shape, get to 6% body fat like this, change who I was. It was an identity shift. It's always been an identity shift. That's what the superhero represents, an identity shift. So you work towards the strongest person that you can be, no matter the struggle. Because if I didn't have this purpose during this challenge, I would be not okay. I'm very fortunate to have a foundation and a purpose to go all in on. And this is the first step, making this a YouTube video, going from there. I hope this video helps. I try to make it as real as possible. And yeah, I guess subscribe for more. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep working. Your feedback in the comments will be truly appreciated. I'm sorry if this is a long video. I hope it wasn't too boring. And yeah, I think I'm just going to come on here and start speaking the superhero truth and journey. Sorry if what I said didn't really make sense, or if it was just not organized or structured. But yeah, this morning I woke up 6 a.m, listened to my superhero music, felt pretty down, pretty not lost, but just a bit confused. And it's just about learning from your mistakes, moving forward, using the experiences you have in life and being grateful for them. God removes people from your life for a reason, so you can grow and become the person you're meant to be. I clearly wasn't the person I was meant to be. I made mistakes. You have to live with your mistakes and learn from them. So moving forward, you can become the person you're meant to be. Be accountable. Don't be naive thinking, you haven't made any mistakes, because, truthfully you have, and you have to accept them. But yeah, always chase your dreams. Never give up on yourself. Always believe in yourself, and always aim to improve day by day. Small daily habits: gym, train, walk, eat, journal, listen to music that's going to help you. Follow people who are valuable on social media. I hope I'm valuable, but don't be consumed by social media, because there's a lot of, you can really drown on there, and that's what the superhero represents. I want to be a figure and a person who can be the symbol of hope on social media, because even right now I need hope, so I have to become what I need right now, to help other people and get them out of, any dark side they're feeling through my content, and hopefully just being a public figure that can, even in person, meet you guys and just, spread positivity. I've learned a lot through pain, and that's about turning that pain into power and positivity. So yeah, I hope this helped, guys, and I'll be back very soon with an improved video. I'm going to learn. This is my first ever video, so yeah, speak to you soon, guys, and thank you again for subscribing and supporting me. I really appreciate it. See you soon.